planmate. This is actually what you see when you work at it as a user. So what do we see here? We see it is a web application, of course, but also I cannot show that now, but all the structure is built up as it would be. You can work on it on a tablet, on a PC, so it's not right-click with mouses. You can do everything with your finger if you would do the exercise. So what do we see more in the content field? We have topics to plan. We see what is planned, and we have a part where we can apply filters. I will come back to all of those things later, but the first thing is what we see here is what we do have to schedule somehow. What we see here the points, the activities that are in Vari project. So you see here that's typical a project number with some description, an activity of the allocation of the team, the resource that should do it. So all those things we know from Vari project are here. They are all in that event, we have called it, and you can use it to do certain things. Of course, you can open it and check. Oops, sorry, the time doesn't. You can open it and see all the data that is behind it, but also you see here there are different colors. We have green, we have orange, we have pink or something like that. That is all arranged by rules you can implement as a user in the end. Even each user could have his own color schema based on rules. You can say, okay, when a project activity is in a certain status, okay, it will be green. If it's in another lower status, perhaps it's orange, and otherwise it's red. You can implement as a user an infinite number of rules to make your color. Then what do you do? That you split it in even. Wait, I will try to follow something. So filter now. If I go back to you see you can drag and drop here. You can replace things. I can't because it's in the past, no doubt. Yeah. You see, I switched from day to day. I have now here a vision of a user called Sophie. But you have, like you have in Outlook, you have a number of perspectives. You can do it in a day, in a work week, in a week, a perspective in a month, more as a list in a handoff view or as a timeline. Now, what you can also do, that is select multiple users.
Yeah. Okay.
You see there, you can make it a selection on what you see in the calendar by the customer or by type of the status of the activity, even a skill somehow that you can add to the resource that is used here to do such things. I will search it. If I now go to the work week view, I see here I have all my selected resources, my selected persons together, and now I can play with that and say, okay, that here it will not be done by Michiel on Thursday, but by Mats on Friday afternoon, and I can play around with that.
So this is actually how the department planning works, but it's much more flexible.
Yes, it's flexible. You can change you have more control over the colors. It's also because in the end, if I put it very summarized, planmate goes horizontal, while the department planning is more vertical. Now the reason why we created that is that because people, you can of course also stretch and so on. So in the end, you could do that in the department planning also, but it's what's not so swift to do it. But what the point for the why we made it is that we want to plan customers almost on a minute based. It's really the point. It's here a final test that we done with multiple hours, but it's all little tasks of a half an hour, of 20 minutes, of an hour, that are all somehow linked to one another. It's the person who plans, who knows how they are linked. The system doesn't have to know it. And then they really say, okay, you will do this first day of the work, which means that your colleague can take this over from 10 o'clock in the morning, and then another colleague will do something in the afternoon with it, and in the end the project manager will call to the customer and say the result of a certain analysis. So that is the plan, the reason why we create those things. Perhaps, okay, you can buy a lot of, by everything that comes in the data, which we can expand. You can add filters to say, and you can do that both on what you have to schedule and what is already scheduled and is placed in the calendar. So that is in short the idea of the of planmate. What else?
Can you save the filters also or not?
They are linked. There is a default a template filter per user.
Okay.
So, but it's the idea. It should all go quick.
It looks very good because I know what department planning by heart, but this is actually doing what the department planning is doing, but then much more flexible. Like one of the questions for the department planning was skills. Now that's something you can do here. That's one of the things.
Something else that the department planning cannot do is this. I can open an event and I can say, okay, perhaps that should be a little bit. I will place. I will here post the hours I have done, and that will come back as to Vari project as I can do it with user interface also. Will come back to Vari project as it's not good. So here we are doing a time registration. Now, if I see here normally it will be like that, I will say, okay, completion is 50%. It's been realized by, I don't know, by someone else. Perhaps I'm just a team manager in the field posting the types of work we have to do. And then I say realize. Then he sees, okay, you have not marked the task as completed. But what do you want to do? Do you want to create a new task for doing the rest of the hours? Because apparently you stopped after 2 hours while there was, I don't know, 8 hours planned. And then I say, okay, yes, plan. If I say later or no, the only thing is that here it will in itself create a new event. And again, you can start planning it.
But that's the unplanned, unworked hours. It's the remaining amount of hours.
Yes. Yes. It says if you have plans, I don't know, and you have to see it. And perhaps in the Vari project we fast enough we think in days, but perhaps you must think in hours. Mm-hmm. Where you say, okay, I have a task of 2 hours, and normally it's really good pre-calculated. If you only spend 1 hour, something is wrong and you will have to do something else with it. So that is the idea. It will, like you said, Kees, it will use the remaining workload and make a new appointment of that, which you can all do all the things that you can do with the normal event or with an event that already existed.
It's more integrated also in realization, because one of the advantages I see is there was the question by department planning that if you plan 4 hours and you did 2 hours, what do you do in department planning? We always say, yeah, it's planning, just leave it. And here you can plan. You can say, okay, I work 2 hours on it. That's the
yes. Well, you can say, for instance, it's a bit handling the chaos. You can say, okay, I was assigned. It happens all the time around me here. I was assigned for a task to do it in 4 hours, and after 2 hours, a telephone comes or something completely else, and I have to do something with it. I cannot drop it. But of course, my project manager must know that I haven't spent that, And I give him in that way here, with that, I give him the ability to again to be notified first of all and to do something with it.
Yeah.
So that those tasks don't go lost, which was a problem. Now another example, another benefit against, let's say, very project as it is now, and also the department planning. The planmate follows another user system. The users here are end users, and they don't even have a Vari project license or an SAP license. So what I'm seeing here is what you cannot do out of the box now is communicate what you have planned to your employees. That is the most setup. That's in the end the big problem, that you cannot have something like this out of the box. So let's solve this also.